Hello and welcome to our second tutorial on data input tables. In the first tutorial, what we talked about was a single input data table, but sometimes you want to actually calculate against two variables, and that's where your two input data table comes in. Works in a similar fashion, except in this case you're using variables on two axes. So the example I like to use is this. I'm going to come along here and as I did in the previous example, we're going to put in, say, a test number of clients. So we'll go 5, 10 as we did before. We'll go up by increments of 5. So I'm going to go and highlight these. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull down maybe to 70. And the thing is, we can keep this in a sequence, but nothing stops us from turning around here and suddenly bumping up the increments if we want to. We can still, we don't have to stay with one pattern. If there is some need for us to bump to a higher increment, say midway in the process, we can certainly do that. So this is my hypothetical number of clients. Now, since I'm going to be using data along two axes, this is kind of weird, but I'm going to have to put my labeling rather than at the top. I'm going to put it at the bottom. So I'm just going to say potential clients. Then up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my potential fees. So right now, let's say our initial fee is, let's say we're going to go with $2,000. And then I'm going to go with 3,000, and just as kind of a check value, I'm going to put in the 3250 because that will allow me to take a look-see and make sure that I have at least one row that is going to match the value in the original table, and that should let me know that everything is working fine with the table. I'm going to bump up to 4,000. You don't have to put this in, but I do put it in just again, so I have a way to check. And we'll go 5,000 per client, and maybe the most we think we'll be able to get away with is $6,000 per client. Now with a two input table, we still need to connect this table to the original table with the functions within it. And since my objective is to figure out profit based on number of clients versus the client fee or fee per client, what I want to make sure is that I have connected this data input table with the profit, because that's what I'm after in here. That's the values I want to see here is the profit. So to do that, that's why I left this little space here empty. I click here, I put in an equal sign, and then I click on the profit cell, and I tap my enter key. And by doing that, I've now officially tied this two input data table to this profit down here. As I've done before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to highlight this data because I want to see, I want it to be able to take in all the variables here, test them, and report the results back in this area. By the way, I could have put a label here saying fees, but I can do that afterwards. It's not going to have a huge impact. I'm going to go back to the what if analysis. I'm going to choose a data table. Now this time around, we still have to tell it what cells we want to substitute with our variable amounts. But we also have two inputs. We have an input coming out of a row, which is our fees, and an input coming out of the column, which is the potential number of clients. So the row input cell, what cell is that going to replace in the original table? Well, the row inputs are all fee per client. So I click in the row input cell and I click where the numeric fee per client is located. So I'm going to click there, and that's going to be the row input cell. And the column input cell, I'm going to click in that field, and the column input cell, again, like in our previous example, is going to be the hypothetical number of clients. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to have all of my results reported back. You even have to go in and adjust this column width a little bit. So what we'll see is if I charge $2,000 for each client, I only have 5 clients, I'm going out of business pretty quick. If I go $3,000, it's a little bit better. $3,250 is, it's getting there. But I really don't start to make any money unless I charge each client $5,000, which is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be a tough call. But as we move down to 10 clients and $3,250, I see that my profit is $7,800, exactly what it is in the original table. That's why I put it there, to be a checksum. Or a checksum's not the proper phrase, but a method of checking. Again, at $2,000, I'm just not making any money. At $6,000, I'm making, pretty good money. And as you go down, you will see the client versus fees, and it should give you kind of a generally good idea of where you might break even dependent on your number of clients and the fee you plan to charge, and as well when you start making really good money. So if I could round up 90 clients, charge them $6,000 each, suddenly we're doing really good business.